What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about JSX expressions, ES6 class components, stateless components, properties, and state. Yes, that is a lot to learn, but these are the very fundamentals for React. And if you know these things, guys, feel free to skip this video. You don't need to watch it, or you might learn something new if you do watch it. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. So to start things off, we do need to run yarn run our build script, the one we had in the previous video, so that way Babel could start compiling. And then we do need to run a live server, the public folder, so that way we know what's going on. Get rid of that, and I have mine right here. Get rid of some of this. All right, ready to start. So what I'm going to go over first is JX and JS expressions. This is going to be very, very quick. So right now we're only running one singular group. This is called a group or a single tag, obviously. But let's say we wanted an H1 and also a P tag, a paragraph tag that has this is content. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's try to save this right now, and you can see right here is not rendering anything, and we don't even get an error. But the reason it's not rendering anything is because React can only handle one single group. Okay, a singular group. Right now this template has two groups. It has the H1 and also the P tag, right? That's two groups. The way we could get around this, and you're gonna see this a lot, obviously, in React, is wrapping all of that in a div. And wrapping all that in div, when you save now, you get hello world. Thus, the us is content. But yes, this is the way to do it. You just wrap everything that you want to do inside a div. Now you can start putting a form in here if you wanted to. You could put an OL, order list or unorder list, whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. It just needs to be wrapped in a singular group, which is this div. Okay. Now, obviously, you can put it in another line, just like this. And this will work too. If I save it, it'll still render out. What most people want to do, and this is what you're going to see a lot, is they wrap it around parentheses just to make it readable. And it'll still work as the same. All right. Now let's actually get into expressions. So to get data, you could use JavaScript. So I'm going to just create a variable called obj, because we're going to create an object. And inside this object, we're going to have a name set to WDJ and content set to this is new content. And I put a semicolon instead of a comma. All right. We could access it like we would access any JavaScript object. We could literally come in here and just put up the to way to access it, or to actually get variables inside of templates. You just need to put curly braces. That's it. Okay. I'm sorry, guys, for my voice. My voice is obviously it's I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. I can't even think about the word. But sorry about the voice, guys. I hope this is clear enough. But yeah, just put the variables inside the curly braces. So we want to access object. And we want to access name in here. I'll just copy this. And I'm going to just get rid of this content right here and just paste this in and switch this for content. Now we save this. We should get hello WDJ. This is new content. So that's JS expression in a nutshell. That's pretty simple. All right, let's get into the bread and butter of React, and that is creating classes. Let me just redo all that. Let me go down here and let's create a class. Okay. So we use classes to create components. And if you don't know, obviously you know what a component is. It's just a small piece of UI. And this small piece of UI could be anything. It could be a nav bar. It could be a form. Honestly, it could be anything. Whatever you want that component to be, that's what it could be. It could be a video. It doesn't really matter. But it's just a small piece of UI, a component. And we're going to be using class components, all right, to do this. So to do that, we're going to create a class, and we're going to call it hello. We're going to call it hello. And we're going to extend it. We're going to extend it from React dot component. Okay? Because this is going to be a React component. That's why we're extending it from that module. And we're just going to set up our curly braces. So one thing that every component is going to have is called a render method. This is a required. This is what you're going to be rendering onto the DOM. So we're going to have a render method, right? And inside that method, we're going to be creating our template. So what we want to return is a template, and this is going to be exactly the same thing as up here. Instead of the content template equals, you just put return your parentheses if you want to, and then your template. So your parentheses, and then inside your parentheses you could put, obviously you still need that singular group, guys. You still need it. We need a div, and inside the div I'm just putting h1 with hello world. Control save. Obviously it does not change over here because we haven't even mentioned it down here. We don't know what we're rendering right now. So the way we could actually call this class is pretty simple, guys. You see this, whatever we named it as, we're literally going to grab that name and make it into a tag, and a regular tag like you've seen it before, just like that. Control save, and now you see hello world rendering out here. Pretty cool and pretty simple, guys. It's not, React isn't hard. It really is not hard, guys. So there's different ways to actually render this. You could do it with a self-closing tag, or you could actually go all in and just create a self-closing, a closing tag. Oops, that goes up front, not down below. Just like that, and it'll still render out. But you will see most of the time you're gonna have a self-closing tag because it's just much easier to run. All right, that is a class component. Okay, this is a class component. Now we're going to create a stateless component. Stateless components, we're gonna be using arrow functions to return our piece of UI. So in here, we're gonna create a const called nav bar. I'm just a nav for now, and we're gonna set that equal into a ES6 arrow function. Okay, and right here, this is obviously something you're gonna return, and from right here, from here on out, is going to be this, the template that you want to return, and literally that's it. You can have a div. You need a div. And then you're gonna have an h1 again, welcome stateless, and then you're gonna have a paragraph. This is a stateless component. Control save, and we need to render this again. I don't even know what I called it nav. It's not even nav related. I don't know. But we do one thing to remember, and I did forget right here. When you create a component or a stateless component, a class component, it does not matter. One thing is you don't need to, but it's best practice to actually uppercase the first letter of the name, like nav component. I did make a mistake there. Sorry, guys. So in here, we're gonna, instead of calling hello, we're gonna call nav. Control save, and now we have our welcome stateless. This is a stateless component. So yeah, you got your class component, and then you got your stateless component. Hey, just for just for giggles, I guess, we're gonna go check our app.js, how it actually looks like. Oh my god. So yeah, you probably don't want to write any of this. Let me actually go to view. Look at this, man. I mean, I wouldn't want to write this never in my life. This is just horrendous. Here's our class component. And here's our stateless component. Oh man. But yeah. All right. Let's get into I just wanted to see that. Let's just get into using properties, okay? So when you want to display dynamic data with React, we can use props, okay? You can think of props as just an object where the keys in the object are each of the component's properties. So let me use our class component right here. So I'm going to just spit out hello right here, control save. We should get hello world. So we're going to just take this static component and just create it into a dynamic one. So instead of world, we're actually going to pass in a variable or an object, whatever. So we're going to say this dot props dot first name. Okay, you might be wondering, where the hell do you get first name from? That's the beauty of this, guys. We're going to actually pass first name inside of our little HTML tag right here, or the hello component. We're going to put it right in here. So it's literally going to be, let me actually copy this right now. We're going to say first name equals WDJ. Control save, and look what we get. Hello WDJ. And now we're going to create a paragraph over here, and we're going to say learning, and then whatever language we're learning, we're going to just pass that in. So this dot props dot, I'm going to just call it, you could name it whatever you want. I'm going to just say I don't know, tool, I guess. Control save. You're not going to see nothing right here because we haven't even pushed anything. So down here, let's pass in tool and set that equal to React. Control save, and now you get learning React. And also you could put in numbers as well, but the way to actually put a number, let me say version. The way to actually push in numbers, like literally integers or floats, whatever, is literally using the curly braces and then putting the number in here. I don't even know what version React we're on, honestly. I didn't check. So I'm just going to put 6.5. And then we're going to see learning React. And then I'm just copy this again. Copy, paste, version, control save. Learning React 6.5. But that's how you pass in integer. This is a integer. If you did like a type of, it will come out as an integer. Obviously, you could do a version equals 6.5 like this, and you'll still get the same thing. But I'm just saying, if you want to pass around integers, that's how you would do it. Just put it inside the curly braces. Control save, and that is it. So you could also pass in here a function. You could actually create a function inside of these curly braces. You create a function, boolean, strings. I mean, obviously strings, but numbers, integers, floats, whatever. If it's not a string, then you might want to put it in the curly braces. That's a rule of thumb, I guess. Now let's do the same thing with our stateless component. Okay, so we already did our class component. Now we're going to use our stateless component and try to do that. So instead of rendering hello, we're going to render nav. Control save, and you should get to welcome stateless, whatever. So the difference between a stateless and a class is that the class has a this keyword, so it's referring back to itself. For a stateless, we actually need to pass in what we want the data to be, and obviously the data is always going to be props. So we need to pass in props right here, like that. And this prop is going to be referred to these things inside of here, these properties. That's why it's called props, because properties, okay? And the way we access these properties, let me just get rid of this right now. The way we access these properties is literally going into the properties. Like remember that this is coming back as an object. You could think of it as an object. It's coming back as an object, right? So welcome. And we want to get our first name right here. Welcome props dot first name. Control save. Oh, we need to wrap it in curly braces. Don't forget about that. Control save, and you see welcome WDJ. Now, notice that we're not using tool and we're not using version. Okay? And we're passing all the props inside of this nav component. We're passing all that in. Well, we could actually do something even better. Since we're just using first name, we don't want anything else, just the first name. We could use ES6 destructuring. So let me get rid of props. And what we're going to do in here is actually just grab what we want. So let's say, obviously, we just want first name. Control save. Oops, I did something wrong. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, get rid of props since we're not using props no more, and just type in first name. Control save, and you should get welcome WDJ. Awesome. This is awesome. That's another difference between class and stateless. And you could pass it whatever you want. We could use tool, and then we could pass it in right here as well. I'm just put it right here, and then say tool, right? Control save, and you should get welcome WDJ React. It's pretty cool stuff, guys. And let's just change WDJ to actually web dev journey. And we're not going to be using tool no more. It's just first name. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Control save. Control save. Welcome web dev journey. All right. So now we know class components, stateless components, properties. We could pass in data right here. These are called properties, and that's why you'll see this in React where you use props because it stands for properties. And our simple JSX expressions and stuff like that. Next up is actually very, very important with React, okay? And that is called state. So when a component state data changes, the render function will be called again to re-render the change in the state. So let's take a look at a small example that we're going to be doing right now. All right, let's get rid of all this. We're not going to need any of this. It's going to be a quick example of states. We're going to actually create a class, and we're going to name this checkbox. And remember, capitalize the goddamn first one. Checkbox. And you should get this by now. It extends we're gonna react dot component, and obviously you need a render. It's required, and we're gonna render in and no, not a return, and we're going to render a div tag. Inside this div tag, there's going to be an input, and the type is going to be a checkbox. Okay. And we do need to get rid of this and replace it with our check box. And you're going to see a little checkbox right here. Look at this. Awesome. 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 Let me just zoom in on this because it's... Alright, there's our checkbox. Next thing we want to do is add a state. And that's going to be inside of the constructor. So the constructor... The constructor is going to be responsible for initializing our state. Okay? And in here, we're going to pass in props. And we're going to have a super with props as well. And this will actually will allow us to make changes to the checkbox. Now we're going to use this dot state. And inside this dot state, just like we did with this dot props, we're going to assign some variables, and this is going to be a key value pair. So we're going to say check is going to equal to false. Okay. Oh, and no semicolons. So right here, this is literally, like I said, constructor is initializing the first thing that happens. So the first thing that's going to happen is obviously that is going to set the state as false, or at least checked is going to be false. Okay, this is going to be the initial state of this check box, or this check input right here. It's going to be the initial state, false. So now what we want to do is handle the change of this checkbox. And this is the thing about React itself. It's almost, I think it is, I'm not too sure about this, but it's a functional programming kind of way of thinking about it. So everything you do is in functions. So if you want to do something, you better wrap it in a function, because this is how you're going to see a lot of it in React. It's just pure functions. You'll see what I'm talking about. So since we want to change or handle the change of this checkbox, we're going to do that via functions, okay? And we're going to get out of the constructor out here, and we're going to call this function handle check. Okay. And this is going to be it's going to be responsible for resetting the state. That's it. So let's go inside this function. Now, in here, we need to change our state. So once they check it, it needs to be false or true, and then once they check it again, false, true, false. It's a toggling method, right? So the way we do that, I'm pretty sure you're thinking about it, and I'm pretty sure you're thinking about it the wrong way, is you're probably thinking, okay, if you want to change the state, we're going to just do this dot state dot checked equals to true, right? You're probably thinking something around this area, and this is absolutely wrong. You cannot do this. React has its own method, and the method to actually change a state is called this dot set state. We're gonna wrap that inside curly braces, because there could be multiple states. If we had another state right here, something like I said, we have multiple states, and this is why we still wrap it inside of curly braces. I'm gonna get rid of this. And this is the actual proper way to actually change a state in React, okay? And we could just call it right here. What state we want to change is the checked, and we want to change it to true, right? Control save. But the thing about this, guys, is that this is only going to work once, right? So when we click it, it's going to change it to true, and when we click it again, it's still going to be true, because it's hard coded true on there. So there's actually there's one way to go around this, and that is we're going to get the opposite of what checked is. All right. So we're going to get not this dot state dot checked. So right here, we're grabbing the value of what it is right now, and we're going to just get the opposite of it. And this will obviously always toggle between false and true, false and true, false and true. So now we need to actually call the handle check method or function, and we're going to just attach it to the component itself. So we're going to say on click, or on change, sorry, let's do change. On change, we're going to set this equal to, and since we're trying to access a function, we do need to use the JSX expression, which is curly braces, and we're going to call in this dot handle check, just like so. All right, but this isn't really going to work. The reason why is because this component doesn't know what this is or this handle check is. So we actually need to bind this keyword up in the constructor to initialize it, right? So down below, we're going to say this dot handle check equals this dot handle check dot bind, and we're going to bind the this keyword. I'm so stupid, guys. It's not on the component, and it's actually on the input thing on itself. I thought I was doing it up here since I was looking at this self-closing tag. Anyways, it's right here. This is where we're going to be calling it because we want to make the change on the input itself, not the component. The input itself. So when you control save, you should see yes, we do. Now, this is going to get annoying real quick because imagine if you have 3 functions that you want to actually handle. Well, you're going to have to do this for all 3 of them. And there's actually a better way of doing it, but we're not going to go over that right now. We're going to go over it at a separate video. But since this is, like I said, this video is just for the basics. So, now that we have that, it's working still, but we don't even see anything happening behind the scenes, right? We don't even know if it's changing or not. So we're going to actually create a message to see if it's changing or not. So right below or right atop of return, we're going to create a variable called message. And we're going to set it to empty right now. Or you could just leave it like this if you wanted to, var message. Now, down below, we're going to create an if statement. I don't know why I wrapped it in parentheses. If this dot state, we need to check the state of our checked, right? If this dot checked, this dot state, then we're going to say message is going to equal to checked. And we're going to say else MSG is going to equal to not checked. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. All right, now we need to actually access this message inside of our component right here. And this is pretty simple, guys. I'm pretty sure you're already ahead of me on this one. And I'm just going to say this box is, I'm going to pass in MSG as a variable to get what we get, to see what we get. So this box is not checked. Booyah! And then when we click on it, booyah, this box is checked, not checked, check. All right. But let's actually do something a bit different. Let's actually change this false to true. And you'll see why in a bit. And now that you see that the initial state is true, so obviously the message is going to say that the box is checked. But obviously it's not. Once I click on it, it's going to say it's not checked. So this is going the opposite way of what we want it to do, right? So one little feature that we can add down here in our input is call, I'm going to actually set this in a new line right here. And I'm just going to say default checked. And we're going to set this equal to whatever the default of this state is. So this dot state dot checked. Control save. So obviously it is checked, so that's why it is checked. But if we change this to false, control save, see, it automatically changes right here. So now you know why state is very, very important, okay? When we're talking about React. This is a simple example, but we'll talk about some more complex examples in a larger sample, okay? That is it for this video, guys. This is the basics of React. If you now know this, then you're pretty much ready to actually start doing React applications if you wanted to. Very simple ones anyways. More complex, you would obviously go to Stack Overflow or Google. But this is the basics to what you need to learn for React to actually create complex applications. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, guys. I really do appreciate the time you spend on these videos, looking at it. And if you haven't, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below on what you thought about the video, and like it or dislike it is up to you. If you have any questions or any anything that you want me to go over, please leave it down in the comment, guys. I will go over it. I just need to know so that way I could make a video on it. Also, please consider supporting me on my Patreon page. Everything that I do, guys, I'm not creating a course out of this and selling it for you. This is all for free, and I'm giving you real life examples of how we could actually use these things. So I think I'm giving you good value. It's just $1 per month, guys. I'm not even asking a lot, and with that, I'm giving you a lot of things that could help you in career wise. I'm not being all cocky saying that, hey, I'm just saying that I would greatly appreciate your support in this, so that way I could actually do more videos for you guys. As you know, right now I do work full time, so my videos are not on schedule. I don't really have a schedule. I can't have a schedule. It's just not reasonable. So this would help me actually get more on schedule and actually push out more content for you guys. I'll greatly appreciate it. But thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.